Do 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 do. Hey, how's it going? It's Nancy Gamon. I'm just getting ready to stitch up some handy little purses, just the right size to hold only the essentials. And I'm going to make them out of some upholstery samples that come from a home decor swatch book. To make this project, you'll need an upholstery sample or remnant, some cording, a zipper that's at least as long as the opening of the purse, some scissors, and a sewing machine and everything that goes with it. Since the purse is unlined, I'm using a kind of a sturdy woven upholstery sample that's nice on both sides. Sometimes the samples that you get in books have paper on the back, and as long as it's flexible and you can sew through it, it's fine just to leave it in your project. If it's along the long side, some of it will show on the inside, but if the paper's along the short ends, that will be hidden in the sewing. In either case, what I'm going to do first is fold down about 1/2 inch on both of the short ends and iron that good. And then I'm going to open up my zipper and align the edge of the fabric with the edge of the zipper and overlap it a little bit so that there's maybe 1/8 inch between the edge of the fabric and where the zipper teeth start. And then I'll take it to the sewing machine and just straight stitch along the edge of the fabric. I want to leave a little space between the fabric and the teeth so that the pull will move smoothly. So once I get down to the end, I'm going to sew the other side of the zipper to the other side of the fabric, which I will have also folded and pressed. Again, aligning the edges there, keeping it about 1/8 inch apart, and then straight stitching down the length of the fabric so that it ends up looking like this with the stitching on. Then I'm going to close it up and kind of arrange how I want the pouch to be. So when I hold on to a purse, I usually grab it with my left hand and pull with my right. So I'm going to orient the fabric that way so that it's comfortable for me to get into the purse. And I'm going to put the zipper about 1 inch from the top, and then with it like this, I'm going to straight stitch 1/4 inch from each edge. Probably open this a little bit to stitch this side, so that it ends up looking like this. Except that I accidentally stitched 1/2 inch instead of 1/4 inch on this one. So I am going to trim this a tiny bit before I go any further. And I'm just going to snip off that extra edge of the length of zipper in the process. And then what I'm going to do is snip a little of the extra fabric off of the corners at an angle here, so that the purse will turn inside out a little bit easier. And I'm being careful to not cut into my stitching line, but just to snip off the extra at an angle. And then by opening the pouch, I can turn it inside out. And I'll use just kind of a dulled, rounded pencil to poke out the corners of the pouch so that they're as square as they can be. And then I'm going to stitch along those edges again to enclose the raw edge of the fabric inside of a seam. And when I do that, I'm also going to insert the cording for the handle. So how much cording you use really depends on how long you want your handle to be. If you're going to wear the pouch as a necklace, you want to just grab it in your hand, you want it over your shoulder or across your body. So I measured a purse that I liked the way that it fit and added on an extra inch to grab some cord inside the seam allowance. So my piece is 45 inches and that goes across my body nicely. So I'm going to put this inside of the pouch with the end of the cord up close to the edge and close to the top. So I'm poking it in here and aligning it, pushing it as close to the edge as I can get it and as close to the top as I can get it. And so now I'll straight stitch about 1/2 inch from the edge, and that will enclose the cord inside of there and also enclose the raw edges of the fabric. And I'll do the same on the other side, bending it and inserting it before I do the stitching on that side. So this is what it looks like after the sewing. I have my cord out and that completes the project. All I need to do now is turn it right side out. And again, I can use my dulled pencil to coax out the corners a little bit so that they look sharp. And you can see here how the cording has been captured inside of the pouch. And there it is. It's ready to wear and use and enjoy. If you'd like to experiment together, head on over to my website at nancygamon.com, where you can check out the current selection of workshops. Do 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 do.